Make a Path presents Let's Talk. The Walking Dead Q&A 37. Carl Grimes, here's a question. Why aren't you a writer for The Walking Dead? Why are you so creative and have amazing ideas? Not sure if the whole thing you spoke about came from the comics or not, but if it didn't, then you need the job working for AMC. First off, Carl Grimes, fix your reply button. There's no reply to you, because I was going to just write. I wasn't going to put this in the Q&A. As far as why I don't write for The Walking Dead, probably because I'm not related to anybody. That's how Hollywood seems to work. Outside of that, I never took writing seriously to do for Hollywood. You know what I mean? I had different goals and aspirations, and I listened to the people when I was growing up. And this is something I don't believe now. I don't believe you should ever do. Again, when I was growing up, I came from an environment that says you're a laborer. You work, build houses, you work in factories. That's your life. Go on a vacation once a year to, the beach or something. And then maybe go to Disneyland once every 10 years. That's the life you lead. That's the life everyone leads. Don't ever dream big because it'll just shatter your hopes. And I think that's a safe thing to tell everyone. However, I always had this urge to make movies, and then finally I got to a point where I was like, you know what? I am starting something. I'm starting a project. And that project is it has something to do with Make a Path Presents, and that will be revealed probably later on in 2015. However, I still have acting auditions and I still have writing projects that I do that, again, I will reveal later on. I hate revealing something unless it succeeds. So I have stuff. I am itching to tell you, but I want to see where they go first before we do anything. Yeah, but I've always been with a creative mind. I've always wanted to create things and whatever, I love it. I just absolutely love it. Bar Axis. What does the One Whisperer mean in issue 133 when he says to Dante, "You will fear us"? I think that's what he means. I think he means like, you are going to fear us soon. I'd have to look at the context to make sure I'm not missing something, but I got the impression that they were messed up people, saying like, listen, we are dangerous. We are a force to be reckoned with. You might not fear us now, but you will. Scott Gilbert, if you were a writer on the show, who would you kill? Why would you kill them? And how would you kill them? It all matters on the story. It all matters on the story. I would never go into a show and kill a character just to kill him cool and just to be a shock. Now here's the thing. Don't get that mistaken with shockingly killing a character, because I tell you what, if the story demanded or called for it, if the story allowed for a character to get killed, I would try to make it shocking. And that's why I hate where people say, oh, they only died for shock value. Really? Shocking deaths are awesome. You know what I mean? Now, in shows, in real life, they suck. If I was making a death, it would be shocking. Now, if I was going to do a death, let's just say I would play around with Daryl's death, and I would make it to further Rick's storyline in that aspect to give him like a mission. Like if they do all-out war, have the war start up, have Daryl die giving himself to the cause, and then Rick thought, or Rick assumed, or maybe Rick was losing hope, but Daryl is a person now it's his brother. He sees Daryl give his life for this cause. The cause that Rick, it's his idea. It was Rick's cause. Daryl died for it. He gave his life for it. And then that would be the moment where Rick stood up, got his second wind, and he says, "We will not be defeated." It doesn't literally say it, but you know what I mean? He does that. "We will not be defeated. Let's do this." You know what I'm saying? It just right now, off the top of my head, that's something I would do. But then again, I mean, if I actually had the chance, I probably wouldn't do that because I don't know where the story's going, James Mercer. I've seen pictures of a guy on set that looks like Jesus from the comics. What do you think? Instead of the group meeting Aaron to go to Alexandria, will they meet Jesus and him are lovers? And I think it'd be badass once Jesus and Rick becomes friends like in the comic and we see Daryl kill Negan. No, they can't. No, I don't like messing with the story. I know we need to have the plot lines different and everything like that, and I know there needs to be differences, but I just hate the idea of just taking a character that's a scout for something, a different community, and just all of a sudden, hey, look at, he's in, you know, the safe zone. It's fine with characters like Bob, who, he's an unimportant character. He's important for the comic book and how that story went. But once you have Milton, you don't need Bob, you know what I mean? I just, no, for some reason, I don't like those ideas. Because now you're stealing Jesus's introduction, you know what I mean? And then just giving him a new one. And then where's Eric? You know what I'm saying? Is he taking place of Eric? Are you going to have Eric as the Jesus? Then it doesn't fit. Billy Tran. Have you seen Doomsday Preppers? If yes, let me know what you think. Yeah, I've seen it. I think it's awesome. It's awesome. Even if the end of times doesn't come, I think everybody should have some sort of small stockpile in case of some kind of emergency or disaster. Casey Burkhardt. I have watched the Walking Dead series since the beginning but never read the comics. Would you recommend the comics over the TV series? Does it get confusing between the two? Listen, it doesn't get confusing at all, and I highly recommend it. And I don't know what you mean over. I would recommend both. You know, why limit yourself to one awesome form of entertainment? Take both. Chris Mods. I've heard you talk about what The Walking Dead could have done to better the episodes and bad decisions made by the writers in certain seasons or episodes. So my question is, do you have any thoughts on things that could have been better in the comics? Or is the comics 100% in your eyes? Just curious. Yeah, there's definitely things that could have been better in the comics. I will have like better and worst coming up videos. I have a lot of videos planned, guys. I have a ton. Off the top of my head, I can't pick out every single instance, but I can tell you I would have corrected certain ones where, for example, Michonne catches the governor off guard, and this is in the comics, so they can kill Tyrese off. This is when they capture Tyrese, and Michonne is there. You know, they're like 5 feet away from each other. She has the governor, and then there's a little shootout. The governor lives, but they get Michonne's sword and all this other crap, and then she's like dead, they call it. It's a cliffhanger. Problem is, and the comics aren't perfect either, and it works in the comics because you read it and you're like, oh, that's crazy, but then you think about it in real life. Have your friend stand 5 feet away from you. Pull out a gun, pretend like you're holding a gun at him, and then go, okay, have your friend run around that car. You're going to shoot him with the pretend gun. See how it looks in real life. And it's comical, because if you filmed it in one scene, that's why they got to do editing and shit in movies, jumping behind cars and bullets are like at your feet, you know, and you're running, you know what I mean? It looks comical. In a comic book it works because it's still images and it's panels, you know, because they have her ducked behind a car and bullets are like ping, 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 and then it's like, where'd she go? And she's gone. And like there's like this open field. If you have your friend run behind a car and then tell him, okay, now run to the field, and then none of us will see you, all you'll do is laugh because you'll see him running as fast as he can into the field to run away. Superheroes only disappear in movies and comic books, so there's certain things like that it makes the comic book not perfect, but it works for that medium. Wingate 14. Which do you look forward to more, next comic or the next episode? Dude, it's equal. I cannot wait for either one of them to come out. Matt Barter. Do you think it's possible that Carol kills Pete? You know what? Again, I know with the abuse stuff, and it is possible, and they could definitely do that. But again, now, and I see this more and more, we're giving away Rick's storyline. You know what I'm saying? We're giving away Rick's storyline. If we did that with every single instance, we've given away all his storyline, you know? So, no.
Subscribe now.